Welcome to Green and Woke on YouTube. We hope you enjoyed this segment. The link to the entire podcast can be found in the description box. Okay, so this is Green and Woke. I'm Kimberly Ryans, and today we have a very special guest, James Lane from ELEFANTKILLER. So hi, James. How are you doing today?
Great, I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me on the show.
Great. Thank you for helping us out. We love to talk to you. So why don't you start out by telling us about yourself?
Well, it'll be a whole half-hour show, I believe.
Okay, no. A synopsis, please.
I'll just say a little bit about myself. So, for most people out there, yes, I am a Green Party member. My membership goes far beyond just signing a registration. I actually help with our state committee of New York State.
Wow.
I'm also on I'm a delegate for the Black Caucus of the Green Party of the United States.
Amazing.
I've also run for office several times, 2 times for public advocate and one in New York City and 1 time for Congress in the district where Eric Garner got killed and his district attorney decided to run for Congress.
Oh, so really?
It was mind-blowing to me.
Exactly. Yeah, okay.
This is a society we live in where district attorney can fail the family to bring them justice and then
miserably
that he's going to serve them in Washington. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, man. We needed someone like you in there. We really did. But go for it again. I have faith. You'll get it.
And it's really sad because, it's one, and we'll probably talk more about this later, but it's a long introduction.
Okay.
So I don't want to.
Right.
So maybe I'll just cut myself off here.
Right. But that's great. We needed to know that. Okay. So you're a member of the ELEFANTKILLER band. ELEFANTKILLER.
Mm-hmm.
And why don't you spell that for us?
Sure. And so first of all, we don't kill elephants.
Okay.
Bad name.
That's good to know. That's great to know. Okay.
That's the first thing people say to, I love the music, but the band name is so atrocious. Don't even tell me the name. So yes, but the name is pronounced ELEFANTKILLER. It is spelled in all capital letters, ELEFANTKILLER.
Okay.
But the name comes from, and we have a lot of folklore about where the name comes from. But you can actually look this up. I have it on our page.
Okay.
We were on a TV show, a YouTube TV show where actually explained it's about the sound of the band. It's a 3-piece band. It's me. I play an 8-string bass, so the bass is twice as heavy as a normal bass.
Oh, wow.
The guitar and the drums, and just the 3 of us make such a sound that people ask, so how do you describe it? Well, we say it's killer. And they say, well, how killer? And so they say, ELEFANTKILLER.
Oh.
You think it's something that is so loud and powerful that, it could possibly kill an elephant.
Wow.
We don't.
And that's great to know. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah, everyone in Bruce says they have a gun called an ELEFANTKILLER gun. I don't know if people actually use it for killing. It's just disgusting, the whole process. And so what usually happens is when somebody asks us about where does the name come from, then we usually make a donation to an anti-poaching organization.
Oh, great. That is amazing.
A donation and support of you and your radio show. So thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. And it is appreciated.
That's
so great.
Of giving back to the elephant community that we do.
That's it. That's lending their name to you, right?
Exactly.
Okay. And what is the genre, would you say? Is it speedy punk? I did look that up. So could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So it's very interesting. So we always have this, because we just actually released a new CD, and so we're trying to get it out there into iTunes and all the things. And they're asking for genres.
Okay.
And so internally we have the whole discussion, and then externally we ask our friends, to describe the band, like what genre would you put it in. So we fell into, we call it punk metal, because a lot of metal from the 90s, got sort of stereotyped as being hair metal bands and whatever.
Right.
Or, recently into really dark, heavy metal, like, death metal, doom metal, like those really dark side.
Yeah.
Or, glam metal. Like, there's a lot of genres in metal. But we have a lot of punkiness to us, like the old New York City hardcore bands.
Oh, okay.
And even the bands from the West Coast, like Suicidal Tendency, would be a band that sounds most like us, especially for the fact that, not that we do a lot of political songs, but there's a lot of songs that sort of have more of a Suicidal Tendency feel, where it's a little bit of more melodic, groovy, people want to get in there and dance and maybe smack each other around, but
right.
ultimately have a good time with it and realize that don't take life too seriously.
Yeah, that's true.
That it should
that's needed. Exactly. Okay. Well, thank you for explaining that, because I was like, okay, well, it's really fast paced, and I could see dancing. It's kind of, eclectic, but you would, people that have a taste for punk and metal, you kind of combine the two. So that's what I got out of it.
Yeah.
But it's entertaining. It really is.
And the thing about the band too, it's not just musically, like audio, visually. We try to entertain.
Okay.
And this lead singer, he ran into this guy who owns this, Mexican wrestling. It's called Luchador.
Right.
So they have like these masks that they wear.
Oh yes, I saw a picture with the mask on. I was like, oh my God, it's really into it. It's cool. Okay.
Exactly. So he designed these Mexican wrestling mats for us.
Wow.
And so I love mine. But mine was actually my drummer's.
Okay.
Like the lead singer had one, and then the drummer had one made for him, and then he kept complaining he couldn't see with it. And it took off, and it was only one time. I just put it on, and it's mine.
You took it. You claimed it as your own. Oh wow.
I claimed it as my own. The drummer was kind of upset, so we had to make a new one for him. And then my singer lost his original one, so we had to make a new one.
Oh my God.
I keep mine. Yeah.
You're keeping them in business with the mask, that's for sure, I guess. Huh?
Oh my God. But, it's just amazing to me because there's so much, I love it so much because the reason I love music is the creativity behind it. The reason I love these luchador masks is the creativity and the painstaking, like if you actually looked at this mask, like if I gave it to you in your hand and you looked at the details, I mean, there's things on this mask that you wouldn't see unless you're like 2 inches away from me.
Wow.
But you have to remember that when these masks are made, you're probably watching a wrestler in a ring maybe 50 feet away.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even see these details.
Wow.
So people really put a lot of love and energy into it. And so also what goes into that as well, too, because we have this connection with these luchador masks, we get invited to the luchador events.
I bet.
So we got to play a couple of, what's it called, American luchador, wrestling events. So we'll open the show, or this last one we did, mostly in Queens right now.
Oh, okay.
We played intermission, and it's such a fun experience because those events are family oriented.
Right.
It's very rare for us to normally play like an all ages show.
Right. With kids in the audience, exactly.
Yeah. It's lovely. It's mixed interest. I love it because there's a lot of people from South American community there, and Mexican, Puerto Rican, everybody's there.
Right.
It's just like, it's a celebration. That's the only way I can really describe it.
Right, exactly. I bet.
My favorite moment from the last show actually was, this was kind of like a gym, this last one, it had a wrestling ring in the middle, so they had these bleachers. And so they saw these kids, like, during the event, and they had like their noise makers and they're like little baby spin that like rattle.
Right. It was a party.
It was like a party.
Right.
So like while we're playing, we have a wireless guitar system. So I said, I have to see these kids. So I like ran up into the bleachers and walking out and they're doing their rattling.
Oh wow.
That's a fun time.
They'll never forget that experience, that's for sure, I'm sure.
Oh my God. It was so much fun. I can't wait for the next one.
Oh, I bet. Wow. Okay. Well, since the show is green and woke, can you tell us a little bit about your green beliefs?
Yes. Well, so my history with the Green Party is I never voted. until I was 35 years old.
Wow.
In year 2000. And mostly because I grew up in Harlem, and we've had Democratic, city council, assembly, senators, whatever.
Yeah.
And they did nothing, absolutely nothing for our community when I was growing up.
Wow.
I mean, if there was any ever, some advancements that they did, it really wasn't initiated by them. It was really the people, getting riled up and walking into their offices and demanding change.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't like these people had no thought of their own. All they thought about was running to get elected into this position of power and sitting there as long as they could. And especially when we have a situation in this government, local and national, where they have different term limit restrictions or non-restrictions, where someone could be in Congress for like 9 years.
Yes, isn't that they really need to do something about that. I'm serious. If they're doing a great job, that's one thing. But if they're just sitting in that position and not totally fulfilling their promise, they need to move on. Seriously.
Exactly. So in the 80s, I sort of got into the punk scene. And the thing that was very awakening to me in the punk scene was not just about the music, but the political, exposure that it gave me.
Wow.
I remember that was the first time I heard about like vegetarianism and Buddhism and anarchy, and the problems with our system. And I was like, yeah, exactly. It's like that's why I never bought into this system, where they say it's this two-party system and you can make all these changes in the world or whatever. And it's like it's garbage.
Right. Wake us up, right? Wake us up. Yeah.
In the electoral process. And the weird part about it was, I joined the military.
Oh, okay.
And, so
I didn't know
this is a typical thing. Like, my reason for joining the military wasn't, like, being patriotic. It was just, which a lot of people face now, that after high school, I was like, I have no real place to go. I don't know what I'm going to do in my life right now.
Right.
All I know was I was growing up in a kind of abusive household. Abusive and neglectful or whatever, and I needed to get away. I didn't want to be indebted to my family anymore, and so I said, you know what, I'm just going to join the military. I'm going to join the reserve, so I'm not fully committed. It'll give me a couple of months to sort of think what I do. I'll have like a sort of part-time job because I just have to go a week in a month, and then a week, 2 weeks in the summer or whatever.
Right.
And so I just needed to get out, and sort of try to figure out on my own what I wanted to do.
Yes.
And I'm jumping all over the place, but it's going to come right back, so trust me.
No, and thank you for your service, by the way. I just want to put that out there.
And,
yes.
There's a couple of us out there that say, please don't thank me for my service.
No!
Like I said, my reasons for joining.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You gave that service, though, so I appreciate it. I do. So, no, It doesn't matter. The reason you entered, you did, make that sacrifice. So I do appreciate that. Continue. Okay.
Well, what was really interesting was my first day of basic training, when we get off the cattle trucks to go meet our drill sergeant, and he lays down the rules about, when I say this, you say that, or I do this, do that. And he mentioned, like, the first thing I can't, one thing you have to know, but one thing I can't do is I can't hit you guys. And I was like, thrilled. Because I grew up in an abusive household where I was getting beaten almost regularly.
Oh, no.
Like,
sorry about that. Well, this should be a piece of cake, right? I could definitely do this.
This is a cake it's like, what? They're going to make us run X amount of miles and make us do 1,000 push-ups? That's just fun. What else you got?
Oh, no. Okay. That's funny.
Yeah, so it was a good time.
Yeah.
But then I came out and had to get into the world and work and all that kind of stuff. But still, the problems that I saw, with jobs and working, all that kind of, were still not being addressed by the elected officials. And it wasn't until 2000 when I heard about the Green Party was running Ralph Nader.
Oh, okay.
For president.
Oh.
And I remember Ralph Nader when I was growing up as a kid, like, because I'm an old man, so I remember seeing him in the 70s on the Mike Douglas show with John Lennon. Right. Talking about, like, civic engagement and all the responsibilities and talking about consumer rights and all this stuff. And I'm like, and seeing that he was the presidential candidate, this is really, like, got my interest one.
Yeah.
And then next, finding out that, two, there was more than these two parties that I was taught my entire life.
Exactly. There's more to the story, right?
Exactly. So I was like, wow. And then three, finding out that this party had a platform. At that time, they talked about 10 key values of the Green Party. I was like, wow. And I'm like, that's a lot to remember, but I'm going to try. I used to go through and drill myself, because instantly when I found that party, I was like, everyone should know about this. But then also, thanks for the Greens for being a political party of true independence, that it wasn't just limited to just being like a Green Party member. It was about bringing in alternative politics to actually make changes. Because this two-party system isn't helping anybody. All it does is the two parties fight against each other, and when it's time to make any kind of legislation or changes, and then they go out of session, and the only thing they agree upon is giving themselves raises every year.
That's it. They can all come to a consensus on that. Exactly. But what about the people? What are you doing? Right. Exactly.
So, the main thing for me about the Green Party is the fact that we talk about, like, grassroots democracy and, and making these changes in our system, which is so crucial to really giving everybody a voice.
Yes.
Like, here we go. We see again in 2016, their Democratic candidate lost for presidency again, even though their candidate won the popular vote, they lost to the Electoral College.
Right.
It's something that should have been abolished after slavery.
Exactly. It really should have.
What the Democrats are focusing on is on, making everyone think that the Russians had something to do with it. I'm not saying that they didn't. If our system wasn't so flawed, nobody externally would have to do anything to our system. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
If our system was so great, nobody could mess with it.
Exactly. Let's look at the real problem here. Exactly. Yeah. I understand.
Exactly. And the things that they were accusing Russia about before, they placed ads, and I'm like, yeah, every political campaign placed ads. But the Russians were bad because they were doing it in our way. Okay, fine. Once again, I work in the advertising industry, sadly, and I always say, like, if the messaging of your candidate is so bad that an ad play the voter, then there's something wrong with your campaign.
Come on, James. Come on. You're going there. You are going there.
I'm just saying.
So true, though. So true.
Your show is green and woke.
Exactly. That's why we're here.
So I think it's a really long answer for my involvement. But I'm just showing, like, I'm a normal person from, Harlem, went through the military, still saw flaws of our system. I always felt, disenfranchised by the system, refused to vote.
So many of us do, yes.
We do have other options.
Right.
And part of my politics. So like I said, look, the three times when I ran for office so far, I said, look, I understand, I'm not telling you to maybe even register green if you don't feel like that's the party for you, because, for some people it's not.
Right.
Sadly, there are people, and I shouldn't say sadly, but it's their belief.
Right.
There are people out there that don't believe in certain things that we do.
Exactly.
And like I said, our party is not a cult, so we're not telling everyone that you have to believe in every single thing.
Right.
And, maybe once that person does some more education on themselves and say, you know what, actually this is the right party for me. Or maybe it's not, but I see this party is actually better for me. Fine. But we just want people to be awake enough to realize that there's other options, because in the 2016 presidential election, too many people said, well, I don't like Hillary, so I'm going to vote for Trump.
Right. And look what we have. Exactly. How did that work out for you?
There's at least two others. Like, if you wanted a female presidential candidate to vote for, the Green Party had Jill Stein, and the Workers' World Party had Monica Moorhead. You
That's
could have
it.
voted for another female candidate and had your vote count.
Right.
Because if you don't, and this is what I've learned in the Greens, by holding your vote, all it proves is that there's, in data, it shows that there's voter apathy. The people in power say, look, people don't care about voting. And, when it comes down to putting money into your communities, they sort of look at these numbers and will say, how much percentage of this community votes? oh, 32%. Well, that's how much money they're going to get from this.
Oh, wow. See, and who really knows that?
That's exactly what they do.
Gosh.
In New York State, the Democratic controller that was running for governor back in 2002, H.R. McCall, said, he's a black man, and he said, when we look at budgeting, we look at voter turnout.
Okay.
I wish you could find that actual audio clip when he said that. I don't think he meant to say it.
Right, I'm sure he didn't.
Yeah, but
wow.
It's true. Whenever they're doing spending, that's why you see whenever there's a plan to put like a waste transfer station in a neighborhood, who gets it? The poor community. The poor community that doesn't vote.
That's it. That's it. They don't care anyway. That's how they feel about it. Well, we can do whatever over here because they're not going to say anything anyway, and that's so unfair. It's very unfair. But that's why it's so important
that's what they thrive on.
That's it. That's
why they work with the media. They work with making sure that alternative voices get squeezed, squeezed out of the conversation. So, people don't know. They don't know the options. They say, well, I see there's only these two choices. I don't like either choice. I'm not going to participate. Then that starts that whole cycle again.
That's right.
Participate. They treat you badly.
That's it.
On and on and on.
Right. Stop the cycle. That's why it's so important to vote, regardless of what your political views are. Just voice your opinion. Just cast the vote. I feel very strongly about voter registration because, it was so hard in the past for us to even be able to register to vote. So I'm a deputy voter registrar, and I will go and help anybody sign up to register because just cast your vote. That's all. Regardless of who you're voting for, cast your vote. And that's what everyone needs to realize. But guys, this is a great conversation.
And the best thing is, what I've learned about the power of the vote, was the first thing I learned. That's why I never cast a vote because I believe in the I don't want to say the privilege of voting, but I believe in the process of voting.
Yes.
To let everyone knows where you stand. If I come to a ballot and somebody's telling me to vote for this candidate or this candidate and they're both bad, then I can't vote for them.
With a good conscience, that's true.
But then you could write in a candidate.
That's it.
Like, oh my God.
That's it.
So teaching people about the power that if you don't see anyone on the ballot that represents you, like forget about the first two, the Democrat and Republican guys, and if you've done research on all the alternative party candidates, then you have to do your own research because the system will not.
Exactly. They don't even provide it. Exactly.
It's like when they have these televised debates, like there's a televised debate in New York right now for the governor candidate. And it's just a two-person, because it's for the Democratic primary. And so they're going to televise that. And then after they have the primary in September, who knows if they're going to have another debate to let everybody know of everyone that's going to be in the general election. They probably won't because they always refuse to do that. And if they do, they won't invite all the candidates because it's too crazy that the people don't get confused if there's so many candidates.
But that's how they control. They control the narrative that way. So it's like we're not gonna just open it up because that'll be too much like right to give people other options. This or that. This is what you have. That's why you have to do your homework and look into the candidates that might be the right one for you. That is great.
Right. And so that's what we try to do. Is Koreans, I know I go out all the time and I say, well, here's my candidate. But, and I'm trying to work with other organizations like the League of Women Voters, for example.
Oh, okay.
I respect their work a lot because they come into the whole political, arena as a true nonprofit, nonpartisan organization. I've worked with them. I've seen their literature. Their literature shows, like, if you're in New York State, it shows you all the parties you can register in that are ballot access parties in New York State.
Okay.
And being a ballot access party is not an easy thing. Like, for example, this year we have to get 50,000 votes for our gubernatorial candidate to maintain our ballot access.
Oh.
In New York, it seems like, that should be easy. But with everything going against us, with, like, being excluded from major media and not being invited to candidate forums and televised debates, it makes it harder. So it means we need to get like 100,000 people out there on the streets to let people know about our candidate.
Right. Blanket the streets, I know.
Yeah, because because of the fact that the media is squeezing us out.
Yeah.
People around the street like saying, "Hey, my name is James Lane. I'm from the Green Party of New York State. I'm from the Black Caucus of the Green Party of the United States. Here's our candidate." And they're like, "Well, if you guys are legitimate, how come I haven't heard about you on the news?"
Exactly, right. That is so true. Yes. That's the mindset of people.
Education.
Right, exactly. You have to stop and educate them on what's really going on and wake up, people.
Wake up, green and woke.
Right, exactly. That's why we're here. Okay, that's wonderful, James. So let's see. Let's bring this to a close. It's such a great conversation. I don't want to stop. But I will probably post your whole interview if we can't just have it on the show so people can hear this because it's so amazing. So,
I'm a pretty gabby person.
Didn't have to pull anything out of you, that's for sure. But look, so what about the band? Do you have anything coming up? New albums, performances, etc.?
Yes, we do. So the first thing, like I said, the name of the band is spelled ELEFANTKILLER. So if you can remember that spelling, and if you go to ELEFANTKILLER.net,
okay.
.net, everything is posted there. So when you first come to the website, it shows you all of our shows that are coming up. So we have shows coming on in New Jersey, Queens, Brooklyn over the next couple of months, so you can see them all there.
Okay.
And it also has a link to our Facebook pages and YouTube pages and all that stuff is right there on the thing. Also, our new CD is coming out on September 1st. It's called Supersonic Blow Machine.
Okay. I saw the name of that, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to ask him where that name came from.
Yeah. Like I said, our band, we believe in having fun.
Yes.
So, the names of songs, the names of, the albums that are very thought-provoking, controversial, and ultimately just fun.
Right.
People like, an example of fun, right? So, I'm sorry, how much time do we have? We have like a minute?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to give you there's one thing I forgot to mention in the interview. So when I was born, I was given up for adoption, right?
Oh.
I didn't know this until after my abusive parents died when I was 23.
No,
so,
oh my.
So I went on a 25-year search to find my mom. And so I finally found her when I was 48, and she said that she had prayed for 48 years to see me before she died. And so we've been having, it's really crazy. So we've been having this journey together for the last 5 years now.
Oh my God.
5 years. So what we did last month is she's really, she's had a double knee replacement. She's currently going through breast cancer treatment, all this stuff. So I said, Mom, she's saying, I really wish I could see your band play. So I actually got a car service with me and my sister, one of my half sisters, because I found out I have two half sisters and a whole other family, and a friend to bring her down by car to our show in Queens last month. And we have this really fun footage of her in her wheelchair in a mosh pit. Going around.
In a mosh pit?
Yeah, she's in a little mosh pit. They've made space for her, though. They stopped moshing. And,
wow.
So I jump off the stage. I stopped playing bass. I jump off the stage, and I'm pushing her around the circle in her wheelchair. And then we sort of stop, and she's waving her hands, and she's dancing to the music. As much as you can move around in a wheelchair.
Amazing.
She's been having the best time with that footage. She shows it to her friends. She says, I watch that video 4 times a day.
Oh, that gave her life. Oh, my God. I can only imagine. Oh, man. What a great story.
We're fun for all ages.
Yes, apparently. From the kids to the elderly with spunk.
So everything about it will be on ELEFANTKILLER.net. So if you go, like I said, the main page will show you show dates. But if you click around the site, you'll see lyrics.
Okay.
Don't be too judgmental lyrics.
Okay.
A lot of bad words.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But you can shop around. You can go to videos. We have nice little things like little stuffed elephants that we have to show.
Wow. Okay.
Little elephant keychains and stuff like that. So that's where you find out about us. And of course, I tell everybody out there that if you want to know more about the Green Party, this just Google Green Party.
Yes, yes.
And you'll find sites,
Yes,
that'll just inform you about it.
Yeah, with the internet now, Google anything. That's it. So much information at your fingertips. There's no excuse, to be walking around blindly anymore. But thank you so much, James. This was fantastic. I'm excited. I can't wait for the listeners to hear everything. So, okay. Well, thank you again for stopping by Green and Woke. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, thank you so much.
Well, that's a wrap. Thank you for joining us. Tune in next month for an all-new episode of Green and Woke. And remember to keep it simple, keep it constant, keep it green, and together we can build a better planet.